Good day, welcome to a new update, and today we're going to discuss Cardano and Chainlink, in which those are the ones that have been moving heavily previously, and Cardano especially is the one with the most hype at this stage. And is it done? Are we into further downwards momentum or Cardano, or are we actually going to see further strength as the Bitcoin pair is still doing fine? And what can we expect from Chainlink, as that one is moving sideways or has seen a very harsh correction, just like the majority of the markets in general? That's what we're going to discuss today. But before that, do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel beneath. Also like this update and check out our educational platform, which is in the description. So what can we see on Cardano against USDT, which is currently rejecting at a critical level? And if you have seen my update yesterday from Ethereum, you can see that a bottoming construction is done through a little longer period, in which bearish support resistance flips are not uncommon. So we can see that we are making those lower highs, lower lows on Cardano as well against USDT, but we can see that we are flipping a critical level for a resistance at this point. So which levels am I looking at with Cardano against USDT? Just like Ethereum at 2K, I'm looking at $1.18 for Cardano as a support zone. If that doesn't hold and we're not making a higher low, I'm looking at a scenario where we reject or we drop south to the lows at $1 again and flip back upwards, as then we grant ourselves a higher low and we can start testing this resistance zone, have a compression period and break out to the upside, in which those two zones are the ones that I'll be looking at. So right now the obvious level of resistance is showing resistance once again, and therefore we probably will see some more sideways action before we really can start breaking out. Overall, this entire region around $1 is critical to sustain as support. If that is lost, we do have a small support zone around 70 cents, and we do have a support at 45, but preferably you want to see it sustain above $1, as those are the critical levels that in general at least gives arguments for continued bullish momentum on the markets. Cardano against Bitcoin is still very much doing strong work, as in we have been testing support, as we can see. We've tested this level around 3,500, very similar to Ethereum that also tested such a level, and it avoided a further crash south towards the area around 3,000 sats. And since then, we've made a bounce up towards the very obvious first resistance zone, which is around 4,100 sats. That one rejected, as we can see, and then you want to have a very clear support resistance flip, as we can see right now, and we're consolidating. So as long as this area around 3,700 holds, we can start attacking these highs here at 4,100 sats. If we have multiple tests here, most likely we break again to the upside, and then I'm going to look at this entire region around 45 to 48. But once again, as I also discussed with Ethereum at this stage, if we get to that point, we get a copy paste of the structure that we have here, and we are compressing in a sort of bull flag pattern, meaning that the pattern is still upwards. We're still making higher lows. We are then also making higher highs if we crack this level, and we're going to sustain the upwards momentum, meaning that I'm going to look at a potential rally towards 7,000 sats for Cardano. And that would also mean that altcoins in general are going to follow suit. So the focus is still on platforms, and the biggest ones right now is Ethereum for sure, but also Cardano has been a trigger or an indicator for how altcoins are performing. And at this stage, Cardano is flipping critical levels for support, but once again, it should be sustaining above 37. If that doesn't hold, I'm going to look at 3,000 sats for a potential long entry there. And in the meantime, I'm not interested. So if 37 holds, 41 has to break, then 45. If we get such a compression period, and if we get a structure like we do like this, in which we flip the 41 level 2, I think we're going to continue towards 7,000 sats. Then Chainlink, which is definitely showing weakness at this point, as it's back in the range that it used to be in after this heavy correction at the end of 2020. Right now we are rejecting a critical level of or point of interest and now resistance, as I've been showing on Twitter as well. You want to see it crack through this level around 57,000 sats to 61,000 sats, and therefore we reject that and are granting ourselves another test of this support. So you can see that we've got multiple support levels beneath us, so you can start scaling in. But if you want to avoid further downwards momentum, as I just discussed, we can have another test in this support zone, immediately bounce back, just like Bitcoin has been doing from 28.5 back up, and then we make a higher low and get this entire scenario in which this trigger or this higher low is pretty much your entry point, and then we can have a 45% rally on the upside before we can start breaking out even more, and then we can start targeting the resistance zone around 100k sats in general. So Link is definitely one that's seeing pain at this stage and looks worse than some of the altcoins like Cardano. And if you want to see which ones are actually looking good at this stage, you have to check out my video that I'm going to post tomorrow on my YouTube channel with the top altcoins that I'm looking at for July. Link against USDT, we can see that we're also rejecting a very critical resistance zone. So we've got a bearish rejection here, which means that I'm expecting to see downwards momentum, or at least a test of the lows once again. So we have been testing these lows here, as you can see. This previous high is pretty much the level that we're looking at, and therefore that's the zone of or point of interest in general here. So to avoid any further downwards momentum on Chainlink in itself, and you can actually see how the structure developed itself here. So we do see in the previous period that we had a correction, reject here, bounce back south again, come to support, bounce back, reject at this previous support for resistance, go sideways, make another higher low. So in this case, what you want to see is that we avoid any further downwards momentum through the fact that we test support, bounce back up, make that higher low like we see here. So we crash again towards the support zone, which is most likely as we reject the previous support zone, bounce back up, make a higher low, and then the trend can start changing. If this level between 14 to 16 bucks doesn't hold, I'm going to look at the area around 10 bucks as a potential support zone. So this is the structure that I look at. Or we flip 20 bucks, but at this stage we've got a harsh rejection, so most likely we'll get some more sideways period before we start to move to the upside. So yes, we are granting ourselves massive opportunities. Some altcoins look good, but I think that most of them are eager for some more consolidation before they can start a new upwards trend in general. So that's my update for today. Do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll speak to you soon again.